Hi, my name is Louis Barajas, and I'm a wealth manager and partner for MGO Private Wealth. Beyond what you see when you get a contract and they make your first deposit, right? The problem is that you have to realize that you're going to have to be paying some of that money back to Uncle Sam, back to taxes. And then you have to decide what you're going to do with the rest of the money. And so beyond living the day-to-day life, we have to start thinking towards the future. Whether it's way past your career. And so it's important that you start investing, whether it's in companies, other entrepreneurial activities, whether it's an investment portfolio, to give you sufficient income to sustain your lifestyle for the rest of your life. That's really important, because the last thing you want to do is worry about money after your career is over. So it's also really important to take a look at, how long your career lifespan is and what kind of contract you have. Because what has to happen is that most athletes are going to have a short-term career, but they have a long lifespan. And so within that contract, we have to make sure that we're putting enough money away to last you your whole lifetime. What we want to do is we want to make sure we build financial security, so you feel comfortable that your income will outlive your career and that your finances will outlive your career. It's a way to get a good night's sleep. As you're thinking about saving money for the future, whether it's your retirement plan or for just living your lifestyle, one of the things that's really important is that you sit down and write down a budget, right? That's what I do. One of the most important things is writing down a budget and figure out what your lifestyle is going to be and projecting what that lifestyle will be out for the next 20, 30 years. And so by that, we're now able to start saving money and actually start saving money and putting money away in a portfolio that's going to give you the interest or the growth that you're going to need, so you don't outlive that income. It's really important that you understand that if you've never had money and all of a sudden you have money, you're going to face these really complicated pressures of money. One is that you'll realize you'll pay more in taxes than you ever have in your entire life. The next thing is you may all of a sudden have family members you never knew of or friends that you hadn't seen in a long time who come to you and will be asking for money. And that's a lot of pressure. And the problem is that a lot of athletes, because they feel guilty because they're doing so well and making so much money, they can't say no. So it's really important to sit down and think about that and talk to your wealth advisor or your business manager about how are you going to handle those type of pressures when people come to you and ask you for money. That maybe at the beginning what needs to happen is you've got to take care of yourself first. I always use the analogy of the plane, right? When a plane's coming down, they tell you, when you're boarding the plane, they tell you if there's a crisis or there's an emergency, you've got to put the oxygen mask on first. And so that's what you got to do first. You've got to take care of yourself if you want to take care of others and help them. So it's really important to sit down with a wealth manager or your business manager and think about these things that are going to be coming your way that you haven't even thought about before. Once you have money and you've actually focused on building your foundation, it's really important also to think about what money can do and money can do for you and for others. And so what's happening as you've aligned your values, we want to make sure that you're using your money for its highest and best use, right? And sometimes it goes beyond what we talk about, whether it's investing in stocks and bonds and mutual funds, but how are you investing your money to help others in your own family? Instead of, what happens normally with athletes is they'll have people that are kind of depending on them. And instead of giving them money, why don't we just help them to use that money for further education? I always try to tell my athlete clients is that you want to give money to other people, especially family and friends, so they can actually, you can use that money to teach them how to fish. Right? You don't want to give them the fish all the time. So it's really important for athletes to really think about that as well. So you're in a meeting with your financial team, whether it's the attorney, the business manager, the accountant, the wealth manager, and they're having these deep conversations about how they're going to handle and lower your taxes, invest the money for you, do a complicated estate plan. And you're sitting there and you're wondering, what the heck am I listening to? Well, the most important part, especially for anyone or any athlete, is to be vulnerable and to not let their ego get in the way and to ask questions and ask it as many times as you possibly need to ask so you can understand what's going on, because at the end of the day, it's all about you and it's about your finances, and nobody's going to care more about your money than you. Over the years, I've realized that my role has never been just someone who's going to sit there and talk about stocks or bonds or investments or private equity. It really has been a mentor relationship, because a lot of the athletes that we work with tend to be younger and they don't have the knowledge and the breadth and the experience of investing. And so they need somebody they can trust. And so what happens is that I've become more of a financial mentor. Why is that? Because they're talking to me about things when they may be getting married for the first time. How is that going to affect their finances? Or they're having children for the first time and they've never had children. And so the relationships that I have and the conversations go beyond money. And those conversations are very crucial.